July 26th, the day of the symbolic herald. Also the
20.
birthday of our very own, uh, yeah, sorry, yeah, 26th. That's what I said, right? 22nd. I'm on the wrong fucking day. Again, I'm really good at this.
Wow, you did take notes from Glory. All right.
Damn.
Rude.
Crazy.
Sorry,
That was
July
rude.
22nd, the day of occupational fluctuation.
That's okay.
That
We're off
seems-
to a good start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, so you're born in
Out of
this
a
era.
job?
All right, so the tarot card for July 22nd is the Fool.
Ouch.
The meditation is everything happens at once. The strengths of the day are that you're dynamic, courageous, and success-oriented. The weaknesses are unlucky, stressed out, and self-unaware.
Okay. Okay.
Some people born on this date: Alexander the Great. He is unlucky. Rose Kennedy and children, and Oscar de la Renta. Let's see. And so those born on July 22nd will have a difficult time keeping their careers on an even keel. They may one day be blessed with tremendous good fortune and at another time with overwhelming misfortune.
Chris Brown's going to jail.
What?
They can experience
Yes.
success in what they do for years, only to see it fall apart. Or they may suffer a lack of recognition for a long time and later delight when their star shoots high in the firmament. Not infrequently, their greatest recognition comes posthumously.
Damn. Do I get a drink at the afterlife or something?
We'll definitely get you one. Let's see. Such fluctuations are not limited to their career, but also apply to their emotional lives, as illustrated by love affairs, marriages, divorces, separations, and difficulties of all sorts. So dominant is the July 22nd will to come to the top, however, that they rarely ever consider giving up. When they're in control of a situation, they appear to be invincible. Yet even to the strongest of those born in this day, misfortune may come to strike them down at the zenith of their power.
Huh.
Well, so lots of warnings there.
Yeah. Wonder if Hans Reifenstahl in this game was also born on the 22nd. God damn.
He does have some extreme swings of fortune.
That's yeah.
And I'll do the
sure.
health advice last because I think it's some good one.
Oh.
Those born on July 22nd are likely to face serious psychological problems unless they take some time off to get to know themselves better. Dynamic activity without sufficient reflection will eventually wear them down. It can only result in various stress-related complaints, often involving strain to the heart, back, or stomach. So take care of the brain, take care of the self, and take care of you. I had to slip that in somewhere. So we are celebrating the birthday of our very own Rory, playing Hans, our most fortunate of young princes, and or not. So I am going to let him introduce himself and another one of the games that he's in, so that you can get a taste of what we get up to here on Journey 20. So
yeah. Well, we get up to quite a lot. We've got games 6 of the 7 weekdays. And some weekdays actually have 2 games that swap positions, which is pretty crazy. I, of course, am Rory. I'm playing Hans Reifenstahl tonight. And I am also currently a member of the Tuesday game, Rise of the Temple. It is we'll call it a lore and rules heavy in a good way, in a very good way. Dungeons and Dragons campaign. I think 5.5, 5.0 or 5th edition, and a lot of homebrew stuff taking place in the world of Sasora, a multi-decade in progress world by our wonderful member of our community, the True Shadowmancer, or Shadow. There is everything from custom subclasses to custom species to custom, you name it, and there's probably a custom for it. Shadow has put a ton of work into this thing, and it freaking shows, dude. Like, it's crazy. There is so much to unpack, and it feels like we're both speed running it and also not. Like, it feels like we've gotten to a very important area way too quick, and we might be punished for it soon. Who knows? It's crazy so far. Tune in Tuesdays to see it, and tune in for whatever other games you're available for, because there's a ton of talent in this community. Aside from that, I don't do much for many reasons. I hope to do stuff eventually. That's it. Oh, hot potato. It is Gav's turn next.
I don't know if
that-
Kyle realizes he was muted from all that yelling. Like, I could hear him yelling from the next room. Okay.
Anyways, that is not Bison. I am Bison. I'm Bison for Stonefist. I am a regular on this channel. You can find me here a whole bunch of nights a week, but the night I'm talking about tonight, trying to remember where I'm at, is Thursdays, which is Deviant Paradox. Deviant Paradox is our, I'm going to say, most interpersonal dramatic show. I call it our CW show because it's a lot of relationships and people not talking to each other and needing to talk to each other. And it's a lot of fun. On that show, I play Garrett. He is I want to say unassuming emo kid, but there's nothing really unassuming about him at this point. He's traumatized, very traumatized. It's a running theme in that show. But tonight I'm playing Gav. He is our sewer surfing suplex cinnamon bun, proud dad, and may or may not be asleep whenever you talk to him for the next probably 6 months. I'm going to throw it over to the GM of the Thursday game, Sarah.
Hey y'all, my name is Sarah. I go by Sans on the Discord. I am on this channel 5.5 nights a week, and I'm here tonight as Rose and Nyx, our strict. I will toss it back after I'm done, I promise. Shit, I just lost my place. But I'm going to be talking about Monday and our double feature day, I guess I should call it, of the same game, 2 different parties, and they couldn't be any more different. I am part of the Nightcast as Clarity Palace, the best healer ever. And as Kevin likes to call it, it is the same story, but 2 different parties. When I'm not here, you can find me over on Tango Productions working with the Scar Adventurer and Rob Paper Fox on Stuff and Things eventually. Let's pass it back to Hans because I have told we need to go back for a moment.
I didn't do the bit.
Who are you tonight?
I play Hans Reifenstahl, the sprinting, slashing soldier boy
You!
of the city of Freiburg. There we go.
And
I'm not
let's
gonna pick someone.
give it over to Runa.
Hi, I'm Ren. You found me. I am here on Monday in our Pandora's Gift Suncast. Oh, I went on autopilot. Hi, I'm Ren. You found me. Today I am here as Runa Ingvald's daughter. I'm not going to talk to you about all my characters today. You have to find me. It's like Where's Waldo but Ren. I will be talking about the Friday game, Everyday Divinity, where Bat Kyle takes us through a beautifully spooky game where he tortures us, and we knew he would do that, and still chose to be there. So you know the story is really good, and you should definitely watch it. Maybe the greatest horrors are the interpersonal relationships that shatter along the way. That's all from me. Oh, I And there is Juliet Fairchild, who's super fun. Has Glory gone? She's gone.
She has gone.
Okay.
She hasn't gone, but she's gone. It's me or Glory who hasn't gone.
Okay, I thought it was just Glory
Hello.
that hadn't
Hi.
gone.
Hello. I'm here.
I'll pass it to
I'm-
Glory.
I'm good. Hi. Hello. Hi, friends. I'm Blaze of Gloriosa, better known around here as Glory. I am here a few nights a week. Tonight, I am going to talk to you about Wednesdays, which I produce every other week. We have when I produce, which is objectively the better week. We have our Masks a New Generation game Oracle Force. Which is Masks a New Generation Oracle Force. I don't remember off the top of my head what I call it, other than like, I don't know, bisexual disasters who are getting drunk and they're teenagers and they blame each other for everything. While saving the world. They're superheroes. Did I mention that? Let's see. Other Wednesday, I actually don't know a whole lot about. There's humble in the name. They are all pigeons, I believe. They are adorable, but they go around like killing things. It's great. I've heard that people love it, and it's very cute. It's every other Wednesday. Humbled. There's a heart that is humbled in a wood in some fashion. Tonight I'm here as Honorine. I am just ridiculously overstimulated right now. Let's go talk to Bat Kyle. He can fix it, or be more overstimulating, one or the other. Bat Kyle.
I am multi-talented, and hi folks, I am Bat Kyle. I'm here tonight playing Len Costin, and I get to talk about the game I'm in too, which is always a nice little bonus. Len is the Herald of Doom. Still, it feels like he's the one who has discovered the most dooms and had to tell everybody about said dooms. But overall, we're talking about the game, which does have a lot of doom. But on top of that, or more supporting it, we have a GM who is passionate about the game, about the world, about the politics, about our characters' backstories and making them work. The care that Siosa puts into this game and the effort that he puts into this game does not go unnoticed. And that's why we are here every week, as many of us as humanly can be, even though he originally told us we didn't have to be. And I get the feeling he kind of didn't want us to be. But he didn't lay down the rules hard enough, and here we all are now.
Rule me
So-
harder, Daddy.
Exactly. And with that, since we're only talking about one game each, I will, of course, mention that I just picked up the next source book for Scion, so get ready for that, those of you who are in my game. And otherwise, we're going to hot potato it over to Siosa, our storyteller.
Hi, and welcome back. I should have a rule that Len can't go last because I have to talk after he's given me compliments, and it takes me a while to process compliments. So, just not going to actually make it a rule, but I'll make a joke about it at least. So I have both skipped our regular introduction, which I'm now going to read, just so you have some idea where you are if you've stumbled in here off of the wild web by accident. So thank you, everyone, and welcome to the Shadow of the Wachtturm. Our producer tonight is one of the moderators of Dirty 20 Gaming, the delightful and compassionate Gloriosa, who you've already heard from. She also did a fantastic job getting the subtitles up and running in a relatively short span of time. First time doing it, no previous experience, troubleshot through myriad problems. Let us know what you think, and we'll see how they work going forward. So, our lore master for the series is the beautiful and benevolent Syndra. Before we get started, I want to give a content warning. While the spirit of Seven Seas, swashbuckling adventure, and shadowy intrigue, the story will deal with mature themes, including death, loss, suicide, and grief. Eisen, our setting, is recovering from a 30-year civil war over religious differences. It may get dark sometimes. There's no shame in bowing out of it. It's not a place your head can go at the moment. So without further ado, I'm going to have our savvy swashbucklers introduce themselves, except I'm not going to do that because we've already done that. Here they are. Can you tell I'm reading from a script? So let us get into the meat of things. In the ancient days of Numa, the great storyteller and philosopher Sarah the Wiser once noted that an adventure can only begin in one of three ways: by death, by slur, or by letter. To begin without one of these incitements is folly, a debacle best described as an indiscretion, a dalliance, an escapade. But fear not, we begin tonight properly girded with a letter, the most seductive of the three, and thus the most powerful. The letter in question is a letter that was sent by Fischler's party over to that of Seeger, requesting a parley. It crosses the no man's zone in which there have been set up, fortifications and everything between both sides. And there's definitely some tension simply in watching, the lone horseman cross, seeing if he would draw fire, you know what I'm saying? But Seeger, respects the rules of warfare, waits for the letter to arrive. And it's less than half an hour later that the same rider returns. He doesn't send over one of his own. He just had bid the messenger to wait, and he bears a letter bearing the seal of Seeger from the other side of the fortifications, which grants permission to cross, under flag of parley into his territory for negotiation. It might be a show of confidence, or just the fact that Seeger doesn't expect dirty tricks from Fischler, that there are no limitations placed on like number of guards or any such thing. Like, Rosa can cross alone if that's what she wishes to do, and she can cross with a guard. She is also like entirely permitted to use a carriage to cross instead of walking the entire distance while as pregnant as she is.
She will. The last thing she does before crossing, she says goodbye to Len, and then she puts a veil on. So one of the full Strega veils.
And I do need to ask, is Len taking an animal form and crossing with her, or is he leaving the distance?
He's going to trust her, and he's going to trust Seeger in this. He doesn't know if Seeger knows about his animal form, but he knows Seeger's canny enough to probably look at the eyes for any animal that's behaving even remotely out of character, and he doesn't want Seeger to know that if he can avoid it. So he's going to vanish. He's going to owl, or he's going to wait tonight and then probably owl his way out of there.
Okay, so he's not planning on being at the battle if there is a battle the next day.
He's not going to do a lot of good at the battle. He's one guy with a spear who can maybe turn into a bear.
He's a hero and a strategist.
Well, he is that.
He does make a difference at that.
I thought the plan, though, was for him to leave from here to go to Sura.
I was expecting that he would be going to Sura afterwards.
Oh, well.
Does that make sense? Because we do have like Runa and Hans both on the way to this. So I think Honorine and Gav are remaining. Or I don't know if Honorine's at Fischler's side, so she's probably going to be involved in the fighting. So.
Well, in that case, then he'll have, he can wait a day or two more, but it's going to take him quite a bit of time to travel. And when it comes to a rebellion, a day or two can change the fortunes of an entire country. So
it can. However, in defense of waiting another day, Usura is a big ass country, and everything takes many days to travel between.
That's fair. So yeah, he'll wait one more day, but he might just go as her guard, actually. Then, if not take a animal form, he'll stay with her as her guard through the talks at least before they go back.
Yeah, Fischler has no problem providing him like one of the uniforms of his soldiers as well, so that he can blend in amongst them.
Yep, and if Len has to completely bear out and tear Seeger apart while Rosa escapes, well, he probably won't be expecting that.
The there is there's a large like grand tent that looks to be a remnant from the last war. You know what I'm saying? Like, as in, it is old and seasoned, and it's very much a sign of how much Seeger has been doing this for a very long time. I am utterly distracted by Pike just hanging out by Rune at the moment. I just needed to acknowledge it. And the troops that are kind of immediately surrounding that tent do have a sort of like old guard vibes that Rosa got from the Wakund, of like folks who've been at it for a long time. They're all Eisen, they're all experienced, and yet out and amongst like the army proper, much less seasoned. These are Fidachi men from Fidachi farmlands who have been taught war and been taught it over the last few months or years. It's not clear exactly how long. Is there anything she wants to do with her sorcery before she steps into the tent?
I have to see everyone to do my sorcery, right?
Yes. That said,
Yeah.
she could still do things like generally look for black strands, or she can do like an Arcana sweep to see if there's any like strangers or whatnot amongst the army.
Actually, yeah, she'll do a Arcana check just to
Okay.
see if there's anything real weird.
Yeah. If you want to go ahead and you're going to skip the black strand check.
Okay. 10. Keep 5. 45.
Okay. So it does not look like there are any strangers in like the officers that are outside or amongst the soldiers themselves. There is definitely there's definitely a great deal of very active, almost paranoid levels of watchkeeping going on at the moment. That might have been because they're running in the Black Forest. It might be other reasons. I don't think she has any level of the commander skill or strategy or anything like that. So
No.
what I will allow is a raw wits roll to try to like read between the lines. This is not her first battle. It's not her first, time being around soldiers up close in like the moments before big fight. So
23.
Okay. So what she can read is this is a group that has been harried at least very significantly once or several times to a small level by like either scouts or assassins, or like something. There's something to the degree to which they are very carefully keeping their perimeter, to the effort that they put into their palisades and their barricades and stuff like that, to the way things are lit, to the frequency of patrols, that suggests that trying to like infiltrate this camp probably would have been suicide. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I don't know if the players remember, but Kazi had mentioned that he made an attack on Seeger and barely got away with his life.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time that Strauss himself went after Posen and didn't survive. There, in the door of the tent is pulled open for her. It's one of the like senior, most ranking officers within, and Seeger is there, fully garbed in armor, and I'm going to ask for one more wits roll from you, and if you have the medicine or doctor skill, you may use that as a supplement.
I have performer, criminal, commoner, apothecary.
I will give you the apothecary, actually. So you'll get the +5 for apothecary, and you'll also get to roll the extra dice associated with that. I think that's under commoner for you, right?
Yeah. 28.
Okay. Seeger has lost over 30 pounds from when you saw him last. It's mostly hidden by the armor. And he was a man that was like made of muscle. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not losing fat from being on the march. There's also like a pallor to his skin tone that's a lot paler than it was, that he's actually going to the lengths of using makeup to try to hide, so as not to like set off any suspicions from anybody else. There's
This-
also there's also a couple of things that are on they're on one of like the nearby because like in this era everybody had like their boxes of medicine and stuff like that, and she can see the ones that are out as in they're regularly being ground and prepared for him, and she can immediately put together what they're for. They're pain management. For someone like him who is so used to the aches and pains of war and probably shrugs off most kinds of pain management, that actually suggests that he's in an enormous amount of it.
With keen senses, does he smell like rot or anything? Is there any sort of sickness in the air, or is it just too much herbs and everything?
I will give you a keen senses roll. I will let
Does-
you even use your hunter with it.
Is
with your
this
wits.
white plague?
No.
Okay.
I'm not even going to have you roll for that because you've seen enough of like it lately to know the various treatments for it and stuff like that.
Rosa had it, so she's very
Yeah.
she knows it very well. That's why I asked, but she was thinking white plague.
25.
Okay. There is the faint scent of something wrong, but as for being able to like identify it specifically, it's either too faint or it just does not have enough of a smell, or the herbs that are in the air are too much for him to be able to pick it up. And she has the option to use any of her sorte on him before they get going.
She absolutely is. And I think it's just pure arcana.
Okay. I will let you roll any of them that you want to. There's only one other person in the room that he has a relationship with. Actually, do me a favor, just roll Arcana and Death. I'm going to just give you the relationship because that's like a target number 15, and she's got a 6 in the stat, I believe.
So Arcana's a 5, Death Strand is a 5.
Yeah, roll both of those with your
Okay.
resolve. So
With resolve, so that's 15. Key 5. Does that sound right?
no,
Is that too
no. What's your resolve?
5.
Okay, and your Arcana is 5, so that's 10 keep 5.
Okay.
And then 10 keep 5.
38.
And then again for Death.
Okay, so do it twice. Got it. Yay.
So the relationship that he has with the person that's in the room is staves.
39.
100% staves. It's like a 9. Like, this is an officer who is probably his most loyal officer. But, like, incorruptibly would die on the sword for him, kind of thing. And that's the only one that's in the room with him, which is kind of telling given how much like medicine and stuff like that is out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So Arcana wise, he's himself. It hasn't changed. They're like the Arcana of him does now feature an eye patch. He has a black strand as well.
Oh. Okay.
Whatever it is he has is killing him.
Yep. Keeping that in my back pocket.
He says, "It's good to see you again."
And you, Koenig.
Says, "I'm sorry for the circumstances it's under."
I understand, though, that we do have some, hopefully, peace to talk about.
He says, "Do you have authority to surrender on Fischler's behalf?"
I do not.
Says, "Then I don't think we'll be getting anywhere." He says, "But I would urge you to speak to him to reconsider."
I can absolutely take your message back and discuss with him.
He says, "I don't want to fight Fischler. I don't want to fight Freeburg. I will if I have to."
And what do you stand to gain from that?
He says, "A direct line to Posen." Says, "The subjugation of Hjorgrund."
Even though you may not be here to see it.
Says, "Not much use hiding it much longer, is there?"
No.
He says, "You know how the laws of inheritance work in Eisen."
Does she? Player does not know.
Yeah, it's standard. It's primogeniture is favored, so the oldest son will usually inherit, but not always. But it's also like choice, so that they could potentially like designate a daughter if they had one, and they were like more competent. They could also
Yeah.
like skip the firstborn son. It's not ironclad. If like the firstborn son is a moron, they can always just be like, "No, middle child's inheriting."
Okay.
The Eisen are an extremely pragmatic people, and and they also have like a long history of badass warrior women and commanders that are like throughout their history. So like they are not afraid to give command to a woman who's proven herself. She has to work harder than a man, but like it's not enough. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He says, "I have a son who has in mind what is best for Freeburg. He will have in mind what is best for Eisen." Says, "The best legacy that I can give to this country is this country." He says, "Fosen out of play, Hilgrund at peace." Says, "The other Iron Princes bowing to Logan Seeger as he inherits the whole of the country. You have seen what he has done for Freeburg. I saw it as I walked through the city." Says, "Surrender. Convince Fischler to surrender." Says, "And the country will be better for it."
And she, oh, She gives him the saddest sigh. Like, it is so sad for him. Because she knows. And she's just like, oh. I do not believe war will gain you what you want.
He says, what I want was lost to my hubris a long time ago. This is not about me.
Then what you believe you want for your son, I believe there is another way. I do not believe that he would agree to this war.
He kind of stops and coughs. And he straightens. He says, that's the point. He would never approve of the bloodshed. He would never go to war with Posen.
But he would fight her to protect Freeburg.
He nods. He says, but he does not have the stomach to invade. He would not take from her what's hers. Says, and as long as Foner Posen is alive, she will eventually seize control from him. She has the will to do what he will not.
I even believe with Posen, there might be a way for us to talk this out. War never needs to be an option. All it does is create so many black strands.
He kind of he smiles at that, and it's definitely somebody who has like seen more than their share of death in this life. Like not only the death of those under his command or the death of enemies, but also the death of those close to him. He says, there might well be a way to parlay Posen into peace for a few years, a decade, maybe even a generation. It says the Reifenstahl line lasted half a dozen generations. It says a new united Seeger line. It says without any strong iron princes to stand against him, it will last a dozen. If he has half the wisdom I think he does, it will last two.
Then call off this war, call off this battle, and let's see if we can actually work this out.
All you have to do is convince Fischler to stand aside. Posen's army is in chaos right now. She has no ability to resist our invasion. There's nothing standing between us and taking them, and permanently taking her off the battlefield as a danger. Says, do you
Rosa doesn't
understand?
know. Shit.
Says, do you understand how rare the circumstances we're in are?
But isn't... And So this is player not remembering. Did Hans tell her about the meeting with Posen?
So they knew that Hans was going to speak to Posen, and they already knew about the proposal because that was already
Mhm.
on the table. So she doesn't yet know how things have gone because Hans and Rune have not yet arrived.
Yeah.
Right?
Because what Rose is about to offer is insane. What if your son married Posen?
So I would like a quick wits roll with we'll just go with noble.
Guys, I'm so sorry. So you said noble? It's politician. It's not royal. Oh, and wits. So 7.
He has a politics 5 specialty within his or like his specialty for his courtier skill, which is a 5, surprisingly, is politics. So I will give you that bonus.
I got a
because that's
29.
okay. So here's what I'm gonna. You got a 29 on the roll, plus you're gonna get the bonus from the politics specialty. Does that make
Okay.
sense? And what you can tell is that while the idea logically makes sense to him, his emotional reaction to it is so skin crawlingly like there are spiders crawling out of my pores, kind of like the idea of his son marrying Posen is so deeply and offensively revolting to him on like a level because of how long he has been a rival with her. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And like, but you see him genuinely trying to weigh it and trying to acknowledge that he absolutely has a bias against Posen. Does that make sense? And he just like he I cannot imagine my son living a fortnight past the birthing of a son.
Who said he had to birth sons? Or birth anything?
Well, if there are no children, this entire plan falls apart quickly enough.
Yes. But it does stop her.
Give me some time to consider it. Says, I'll hold the banner of peace with Fischler for 24 hours. Says, you have my word, my forces will not make their way into your camp.
Would you like me to return then after speaking with him?
It says, I want you to speak. If you can get a message to Logan, I would like to know what he has to say on the matter. The ability to cross all the way to Freiburg and back in 24 hours is suspect. Like, but he doesn't know that plan.
I feel like carrier pigeons do exist in this world.
Yeah, but a complicated message like
Owl
the negotiation of like an alliance and stuff like that probably couldn't be accomplished because they're sort of like tweet length, like as far as what you can send on a carrier pigeon.
Yep.
So yeah,
Mary
she's gonna
Posen
leave.
question mark? Two
What I'm
boxes
getting
that
at
say
is,
yes
like,
or no.
it's definitely not like out of the realm that they could get an answer from him back in that time. Does that make sense? So he will acknowledge that that's a possibility, especially as they're inside of Fischler's land and he presumably has pigeons in the like of his own. So he says, I will send a runner tomorrow I'm ready to speak again. Says, if you have word back and some assurances that such an arrangement can happen, I'm willing to consider other options.
Len will put his hand on Rosa's shoulder gently, just to kind of a, is it okay if I say something thing? And if she tells him no, it's fine.
She nods to him, yes, like, go ahead.
Len will look at Seeger and just be like, we know your son. And I don't know what weight this carries, given
Does
everything.
not know
but
when to stop talking.
I think he would far rather have whatever time you remain as his son or as his father, rather than a country he does not want to rule over.
Go ahead and make a wits and noble roll against him as well. It's a very persuasive argument, so I'm going to give you a chance to sway things a little more.
So wits, because Len has never had anything noble about him.
I'll give you commander also.
Oh,
if
commander.
you have
Okay,
that.
yeah, I definitely have that. So 3. So I'm actually going to use a drama die on this one too.
Sure.
So 27.
Okay. Both of you can tell that you have made an impact, but not persuaded him yet. Does that make sense? He's still like thinking that his course is the best one, but he's not willing to like completely take it off the table yet. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
And
Rose is waiting to get out because she wants to say something to Len so badly. Oh my god.
But he'll like that'll conclude it for now. Like they'll send her back to the carriage and stuff like that. The plan to sort of like try to piss Seeger off to the point where he attacked her definitely probably isn't going to be possible while he's like in a town secluded with one of his own soldiers.
Like that
And
that was Rose's original idea. And then when she saw that he was sick, she's like, shit, I gotta go with a different plan here.
yeah, and the knowledge probably does reframe a lot of things of like this is less a matter of, I mean, yes, there's some of his own ego that's involved in it. Does that make sense? But like it's more in the sense of like it's about his legacy rather than like I'm looking to wear the crown.
Yeah.
So if there's nothing else, then Len will escort Rosa back to the carriage and hop in with her.
And as soon as she knows that they're not being listened to, she just goes, oh shit, I think I just sold Hans's boyfriend out.
Look, Seeger doesn't have long. It's clear. Whatever is killing him is
It's working.
It's working, and it's advancing rapidly.
He has a black strand.
Oh yeah, very rapidly then. At this point, we don't even need to beat him. We just need to stall him.
The longest that's been heard of that anybody has lasted with a black strand is 3 months. That changed a little bit during the whole time in Freeburg when like a bunch of people had black strands, but those black strands also got unwoven. So
yeah,
which is also unheard of.
But either way, we've bought some time, and it's another day. You especially have bought some time, and it's another day that hundreds or thousands of people who don't need to die aren't dying.
We got to get back to Fischler, and we got to get back to Logan.
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to be the one to take something to Logan, if only because I don't know how many carrier pigeons we have, and I don't know how reliable they are. I've never really trusted pigeons.
Especially with a question like this.
Yeah. And someone who is there in the discussion who can actually speak to things that a letter isn't going to carry.
Or no.
Yeah. So, I guess I have another trip or two before I take the even bigger trip. But if it saves countless lives, then I will bear the feathers a while longer.
Just to simplify things a little bit, I don't mind assuming that Honorine came with one of the Dusai's siblings that are able to pass a message back and forth between each other to save Len a flight back. And it makes sense that they would have a means of communication back to the city. And it's a normalized form of communication for Montaigne, so I think that she would have naturally thought to include one.
Oh, that would work better too. You could do a bigger
A
layer
lot.
that way. But
Yeah. But
well,
when Rosa does get back to Honorine and Fischler, she says, either we have 24 hours. He wants either you, Fischler, to move aside so he can go kill Posen, or maybe we can hold this off for a little bit longer if we can get Logan to agree to something insane.
Who is she saying this to?
Honorine and Fischler.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What? That was in character, by the way.
I offered Logan to marry Posen as a way to keep peace.
this whole thing is Seeger kind of misguidedly wanting to hand the entire country to his son before he dies of consumption.
Soon.
He's dying every day. It's getting worse. He's lost so much weight from the sort of man bear that he was.
He probably has 3 months. If he's lucky.
He has the unmitigated gall to think that he can make decisions for an entire country. The ego on that man. She says, unironically, having come from Cease and Montaigne in general with an emperor.
Yep. And so he wants to hear what Logan's thoughts are on this, but he's only giving us 24 hours. So we will need to draft a letter. One of your cousins will hopefully help pass that on and get that back to us quickly. I was going to owl it, but it's probably faster and better to use Porte.
Probably so.
And we also need to hear from Hans. Wasn't he speaking with Posen?
Well, I think he was. Do we actually have a problem just letting his forces through to Posen?
Looks to Fischler like
He says, is he going to be stopping and taking control of everything in Heelgrund? Because I have a problem if he's going to be running from town to town, conquering that on the way up to Posen Lands.
He
did say that.
Yeah. Bring Hilgrund in hand, crush Posen, hand the entire continent to his son, who we all know does not want that.
He says, if it meant peace on the continent, I would have no objection swearing my allegiance to Fischler, or to Seeger, Logan Seeger. He says, Eric Seeger, that's a no, but his son I have no problem with. He's certainly more equipped for that job than I am.
But does he even want it?
Fischler kind of It's not really how responsibility works.
It's not just a question of does he want it, but can he hold it?
Posen. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, just gonna say with Posen off the board and then his father off the board, that doesn't mean that there are no challenges. It just means that the known challenges aren't there anymore. That doesn't mean peace either. But go ahead, Henri.
I was just gonna say at Fischler's little "That's not how responsibility works." She's gonna kind of nudge him and just kind of like glance at his piece of armor that makes him an Iron Prince, like his Iron Prince armor.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of just like a little kind of rib. It's not actually like she's not making
that was kind of actually the comment he was making too, is that like he thought he wanted to be an Iron Prince, but like once he was actually dealing with the responsibility of it, he didn't much want it. On top of that, he's got his sister who's now dealing with all of the like politics of Usura. So like he's very familiar with like, yeah, sometimes it happens and you don't want the responsibility, but it's yours anyway.
Yeah, she's just saying she understands. Good grief.
Yeah, no, it was a little like out of character, you know. I wanted a backstory. Fischler, like, yep, that just happens that way sometimes.
That happened.
Yeah, none of us planned to be part of this council, and yet here we are running around all over the country into other worlds.
I did actually sign up to be a noble. I did do that. I just want that on the record.
Let's send a message to Logan explaining the situation if we can. It says get his feedback on all of this.
Agreed.
I have just the cousin for that. It's the only cousin I brought.
Go ahead and give me like if you can just put a paragraph into chat of like what is actually being in the scripted message.
Who's writing it?
I don't know who's writing it.
Oh!
Okay.
Did we just do that at literally the same time?
In Rose's defense, I think she has the most recently become literate, and it might be fair to have somebody else write
it. Y'all are making the...
Yeah, and Fischler doesn't even bring the point of like I've known how to write for less than 2 years. So somebody else should be a little bit more.
And one of us out of this group is the most used to noble communications.
Oh, shut up.
Aren't you a playwright?
Somebody who, writes letters all the time.
He looks to honor it. He says, I would genuinely appreciate it if you would draft the message.
I can give you the information, but having me write it might be like having a child write it.
I'm totally distracted by Pike.
I'm completely, my brain
oh
is
my
gone.
God, Pike.
Just looks
the
like
way that Ren was looking at Pike was just the most fucking adorable thing. I'm just losing my mind.
She really likes cleaning us. So she was just licking my thumb, my finger.
It looked like she was having
really
a conversation with you from the back. It looked like she was talking.
She's telling you all about her day.
No,
anyway,
she's just giving me kisses.
All right. So while we're working on that, kind of brief flashes into everybody else. Runa is leading, a group of 5,000 guardsmen that are traveling by foot for the most part. Yeah.
Sorry, this is related to before. Who went with her? Like in to talk? Did Anna go with her?
Yeah, Anna went with her.
Okay.
And
I didn't know if Anna was just there for the trip or if she was
No,
there
she
for
she went
the
the whole
big-
way. She was kind of quiet. She
Cool.
was definitely like this. Actually, we'll do a kind of brief. Like this is the first time they've really had the chance to talk since getting away from it all. You know what I'm saying? Like they're at the head of the guards and stuff like that. But she says, "I never thought I would see a land in more disarray than Hilbrun's."
Things. Hilgrund white-knuckled for survival. They didn't have a choice. Their leader could not fight for them. Sometimes things aren't as easy to overcome.
I see things like that, and it makes me hate my father in completely new ways.
When you are, sometimes when you're in a position of power like that, you only think about the power. When you
It's just
have
wish
the power, you don't use it the way you need to. When you don't, it shows that you can't,
and she
that you never had an option.
They're actually riding through Heelgren lands at this point. They crossed around, and there had been the option to cross through Gotskirchen, but Runa had the memory of like that whole area of Heelgren lands is being eaten by poison swamp, and so rather than taking her guardsmen into it and very possibly not coming out, they went and crossed over the river at a bridge and have been riding through Heelgren lands. But like traveling through it again, it's clear that like the poison of that area is still on the spread. Does that make sense? Because they're crossing like the edge of it, and it's a lot closer to Freeburg than it had been.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? It's kind of like slowly crawling across the land. And Anna Anna's very, very thoughtful, and she says it seems like there is always a balance between cooperation and strength. She says that countries need strong leaders, but they also need strong cooperation, and too much of one, not enough of the other, leads forever to disaster. And like that, disaster is inevitable.
Seems you've learned that lesson younger than you should have to, but around the same time as everyone else does.
I guess then it just becomes a question of how strong, when.
I think the answer to that is as strong as we can make it.
But it was my father's quest for strength that led us to where we are.
Strength in community, strength in sharing ideas to move towards better solutions. What does Warsaw? Sometimes
Yeah,
there's
we
an
keep
answer
going
for
to
that.
it. She says we're marching to one right now.
Yeah. Well,
Surrender doesn't seem to solve much more.
if it can be avoided, we wouldn't be.
No, and she kind of like looks back to the guard that's trailing behind them. She's like, I'm gonna ride ahead to the next town and see if they have any spare food to sell.
One company.
She says, well, one of us needs to stay with the army. She's talking about like the next one that's on their route, like basically getting there ahead of them to make sure there's provisions ready, so they're gonna have food. Not like she's leaving the route and coming back, but going to the place that they'll be passing through eventually. So
I'll see you there.
yeah, and she kind of takes her horse and rides ahead. And cutting over to Hans, who's similarly sort of like riding with Ingvild. You're muted, by the way.
No, I'm just silently cursing. Don't worry about it.
The two of you are like, you're leading an army of cavalry. Of the many things that Ingvild is naturally good at, horse riding is not particularly one of them.
That's fair.
Although she has plenty of like lives that she's lived before that were just fine at it. Does that make sense?
Huh.
But she keeps kind of like shifting, you know what I'm saying, in her saddle and like kind of getting the balance of it. And she finally just sort of, she says, I have 1,000 years of memories of men in saddle. She says, none of which had breasts or the center of balance that I do.
I cannot imagine such different information would come in handy now.
She says, I do have a strange sense of gratitude that my testicles aren't being crushed with every bounce.
I would imagine 1,000 years of memories of that is enough to deal with. As he kind of like, God damn it, adjusts in the saddle himself.
And she just kind of like, poor boy, and kind of like pats his shoulder. She says, my memories don't indicate it gets much better in another 100 miles.
It's never something you can quite get used to, I suppose.
She says, what do you think of Posen's offer?
I think we are fucked one way or another. To be candid. I mean, if we wed, it is only a matter of time before the issue of an heir comes up, and otherwise we have still have the most fearsome general in the country's history to contend with. For all her strategic wisdoms and experiences, I do not think she will come to the side of a council or a republic of Eisen so easily.
She says, do you think she would defend her country from invasion?
Oh, well, until her dying breath, yeah. It is all she knows.
She nods.
Her life's work is building up the province of Posen, the Königreich, to be the fearsome element of Eisen's political landscape that it is. That is her legacy, as you're so fond of saying. Legacies.
She says, I am taking a long view, trying to guess at Ruin's plans. She says, and what I see at the center of it is the council desperately shoring up the chaos and the disorder and forging order out of it. Says, the linchpin seems to be the tower.
Of course it is.
Says, and without armies to invade and shed blood, without a plague to spread death, what comes next? An invasion?
Or I think what comes next is interference, hands-on intervention. It is not beyond him. Ruin has showed up at the doorstep of important figures and, you know, the people at the forefront of the whatever elements. My father, the Niklas Traug, previous Konig of Freiburg, whatever have you. He seems to be open to the option of head-on confrontation to get what he wants. In any case,
She nods.
who's to say we would be able to? I mean, who's to say what he could do next? He drives people mad simply by speaking. He poisons the very ground he walks on. He creates beasts of endless destruction and torment out of
And yet
T.S. only knows where.
Yet his plan is capable of failure, and he knows it.
Why, as everything is.
If it was not capable of failing, he would not have inflicted what he did upon my daughter. When she saw the destruction of the tower, being impossible, she could warn people. What difference do you think it would have made if she had been able to spread that warning years ago?
Oh. I do not know. Perhaps we could have other people with had visions, or perhaps we could have found the council earlier, or a history check. Eisen was still in the midst of the war at that point, yes, right?
No, it had been completed by that point because the war has been over for several years now. But it would have been real close, and it might have been at a time where Eisen was a little bit more open to the idea of like cooperation and like other big things is like Hilgren wouldn't have had quite as much time to like assume power after the death of the Riefenstahls. There are a number of like small things that might have changed, that might have had big outcomes because there's like a butterfly effect to everything. And what they've seen is, everything that they've accomplished it in a year-ish.
Yeah. It's crazy. To put that on the timeline, Hans is dead during that time period, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's the next thing he mentions. That I have little to work off of. I mean, I've lost years of time. Whatever has happened in that time, I've had to find out about in the aftermath. Maybe a council could have been formed. Maybe word could have gotten around. Maybe even Niklas Traug could be alive. Who's to say? But I mean, the most likely outcome, unfortunately, is that she's written off as someone who has gone mad. There's countless horrors in this country that drive people to madness.
She says,
it wouldn't be the first time.
Perhaps they could have been spared from such things.
Perhaps.
She says it continues to rankle in my mind that he chose to shut her down for years instead of killing her. If she was a direct obstacle to his plans, death would have been enough for him to accomplish, I imagine.
Yeah. Maybe that's just it. Maybe he has no plan at all.
Maybe he operates on instinct. I don't know. She says, just there is the feeling of.
It's shaky. There's uncertainty everywhere.
She says there's a particular type of snare, she says, in which all the ropes tighten slowly, but at the same time. She says, and that is the feeling that I have. She says that I'm in such a snare and that everything is closing in from different directions, but not all at once and not quickly.
that is the most accurate description I have heard. Puts a rather unsettling tone to it. As if we have to, as if we are outsmarting a trickster, a trapper who does this for however long. You know, the hare is not often they want to outsmart the hunter.
Says, and it riles the hunter greatly when it does.
Yeah,
She says, as someone who's hunted a few times myself, there have been plenty of rabbits that have escaped. Says, and none that I've readily forgiven for it.
To be sure. Oh. This is insane. This is an insane idea. I cannot even believe I've entertained this notion up until this point. There's so much truth I've not divulged. I think it's birds. Glory. I think you can hear the birds a little bit.
She says, for my part, I think you and Logan make a very cute match. She says, and I also know that there's somebody else that a part of your heart is still in.
Yes,
She says, this is very personal. She says, but may I give you a bit of advice?
I will never turn down anyone's experienced opinions.
She says, I've had some luck, and good and bad, when it comes to love. And at least for myself, what I can say for certain is that I've never fallen out of love with anyone. Sometimes I've just also grown to hate them. She says, but once I open part of myself to somebody, she says it never really closes. Sometimes it grows distant, sometimes it becomes a fond memory. She says, but it's never really gone. And just because you loved someone before, just because you might still feel for them, does not mean feelings for someone new is a betrayal.
It is certainly something to chew on.
And she kind of, wraps an arm and kind of squeezes his arm with hers, like a little, like as much of a hug as you can really safely give while riding without pulling somebody out of a saddle.
Yep.
And she kind of shakes herself and goes back to it. As in the Hall of Records, a slightly distressed Sice woman. Dearest Logan, I regret to inform you that my sister has offered your hand in marriage to Konnik Posen in order to head off your father's delusions of grandeur. His rampaging ego has landed on you as the most appropriate heir to the entirety of Eisen, which he intends to conquer in order to pass it along to you. He wishes to know if you might entertain the possibility of a matrimonial solution as opposed to martial conquest. Your prompt answer is appreciated. And like the cousin she takes a deep breath and she's like, I am not delivering that to an Iron Prince. I understand he's a much nicer fellow than the Emperor. And then hands the scroll to him.
To Gav?
Yeah, to Gav.
He just it like me, it took Gav a few seconds to register that he was being spoken to. The twins were fussy last night and been a little hard to sleep. But he thanks her for
She hands a scroll and kind of takes Roland. She like, I want you just so cute, and starts to head with him back towards the nursery.
Gav finds Hannelore, tells him he's going to be right back. Gives her a kiss on the forehead.
Yeah, and
then go ahead.
She has been in a state where like she seems to burst into tears at random, most often when she's looking at her children. Like it seems to just be like occasional, just like wild spikes of it, you know what I'm saying? And she just sort of like wipes them away as he comes in, and pauses and like wraps her arm around him and squeezes, and she's like, I know all of your friends are out there facing danger, she says, and it means the world that you're here right now.
I would not dare put you through the same things my mother did when I was born.
And she kind of like, sometimes I forget we're and she like almost gets to orphan, and then she just starts like bursting into tears again. And kind of like almost angrily as she does, you know what I'm saying? Like, are you kidding? This is the stupidest thing. Like, she's swearing at it, like it's gonna help her like get everything under control. And she wipes at her eyes, and I'm told this will pass.
He smiles and cups her face in his hand. He's like, you are most beautiful when you are angry for no reason. I love you, Hannelore.
Yeah, she's crying again. She kind of promptly kicks him out after like knowing he has things to do, and she's like, I am not yet ready to climb back up on you, but I want to every day. Get out of here.
So Gav makes his way down to Logan's palace. Isn't the right word? City Hall, yeah, where he resides during the day.
Yeah, he just has like a townhouse like anybody else during. I mean, I say like anybody else because like it's a townhouse that's large enough to require servants and stuff, but
it's like the Prime Minister of Britain living in just a place on the side of the road. Like, yeah.
So anyway, he's Logan is at City Hall, and he kind of looks up at the arrival, dips out of where Wilma is kind of holding court. He's been making a steady process of also being involved in anytime there's like he's been doing the same thing that Rosa and Wilma have been doing, kind of taking the third shift of it frequently. So
and how do the people find it?
I'm going to throw something up on Roll20 just to give the sense of like when I say a townhouse, I want to give a sense of like what that means and why I have no problem with there being just like 20 odd people over at honorings at any one time. So
a generous definition of the word.
Well, just a very different one. So
there's nothing on Roll20 except for the map horizon.
It's coming up.
Okay.
Oh, you still got to transfer it over to Roll20, and then
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
I did it fairly quickly, but it should be there now. Presuming you're all on the page, I think you're on. Yes.
Go to players. That's
weird. It's not showing up?
Not for me.
Nope.
Okay, we're gonna try it.
Thank you for the raid, Malky.
Hi, Malky.
Thank you for the raid, Brendo.
Woo! Raiders, hi.
Holy crap.
Now, can you
Yeah,
see that?
it's a townhouse, all right, because you could fit the whole town in it.
Oh,
I hope you feel
Jiminy.
better, Malkov. Yeah, there's a grand ballroom and a gallery on the upper floor. Like, it's a townhouse. So when I say it's a townhouse that Logan is staying at also, I also want to make clear, like, this is what I mean when I say that.
Yeah.
So Logan, like, reads it over and is like, the Montaigne have a very different expectation of written communication than the Eisen do, I think.
What does it say?
I feel like that's the most Eisen thing she's written.
She's offered my hand in marriage to Conic Bosun.
Did Honorine did that?
Rosa did, not Honorine.
That makes a little more sense. But what?
He says, from what I gathered, there's my father is trying to conquer all of Eisen, and this might forestall it, and wants to know if I might entertain the possibility of a matrimonial solution as opposed to martial conquest. And I'm not opposed to marrying Posen, but
What about you and Hans?
I think we'll come to an understanding, and the good of Freeburg outweighs my relationship. And Hans and I have discussed that.
So you are considering this deal?
I won't
I
rule it
thought
out,
Hans
but
was going to
Posen is
Posen for
also.
the same idea.
Well, that was the offer that she made, was for Hans, not myself. Says, I suppose we could bring me as a counter offer, but all of this is moot if he's going to be invading in the next
Few days. Oh God, Bоже мой. I have not had enough sleep this month for this. So what do we tell her? It sounds like your father will march if we do not do this. I do not like this idea, Onik. Not for you, not for Eisen. Certainly
No,
not for the people who stand in the way.
But she has told me how to stop him. And he turns in the office that he's in, and he picks up the belt of the Koenig. He says, I'll have to get my armor.
Do you
He
need me
won't
to attend
march
you?
if his son is on the battlefield.
You are mad. Truly, you are jesting.
We need Arthur.
He says he won't march. The entire point is an empire to hand to me. If making that empire would require taking my life on the field of battle, he won't fight.
This is an incredible gambit.
He says, we might, I'm not opposed to a marriage to Posen if it would bring long-term peace and stability. He says, but in the meantime, he has to stand down his forces. And my presence there could make that possible, could make that a certainty.
Well, I will certainly not letting you leave alone, which means I have to tell my wife, which means you have to explain it to Hannelore. Not like super throwing Logan under the bus, but
he says,
there's a little toss, a gentle.
Go and see if Lady Jamais can can provide us rapid transport to where they are.
I shall. And he just
Um,
looks at Logan. He's like, "You're like the look Gav gives Logan is like you're throwing away love for this." And he's just almost heartbroken.
And he's busy kind of collecting his armor and like the things that he's going to need if he's actually going to take the field, and look like he's serious about taking the field. So, and there are several things that sort of happen at once. Jemay is capable of handing one of her blooded objects to one of the twins to pass to another one of the twins. Objects are capable of being blooded to more than a single sorcerer. The which means that Jemay quickly has a place to open a large portal to, one that two people could pass through. And I'm just going to roll a quick resolve check for Logan.
Poor guy.
Because I don't think he's passed through one before. I'll need one from you too. It's still target number 10.
What is the resolve? Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
11, 14. Logan rolls straight ones. We lose the Koenig. The entire campaign's a bust.
That would be funny as hell.
Sucks so much.
Need to look up his stats though.
If you can't find his stats, he passes. Like if it doesn't scan, it's free.
Oh, I forgot. He is the son of Eric fucking Seeger, so he has 5 resolve. He's fine. I didn't even roll enough dice. He's still fine. So he kind of like comes out of it. And there's sort of like an unspoken code in like traveling through a porte gate. Like you don't really necessarily talk to people about what you heard there. But it's definitely clear that it was not what he was expecting, and that he felt it a little bit deeper than he expected to. For his part, Gav heard Roland's voice trying to like warn him, that Verslingen was right there, and like shouting it out to him, kind of trying more for like a startle than anything else.
Yeah.
And when Jemay steps out of it, she just kind of like, thank you, Mother. Your commentary, as always, is appreciated, and just sort of like bustles her way into the tent. And like as she does so, Runa and Hans's forces are both arriving. And I want a quick command roll from Hans as he's approaching.
Okay. Skills. Okay. 8, 4, 29.
So one of the things that I want as a tactician, if you have a banner of truce with somebody for like negotiation, parley, et cetera, it is generally considered to no longer be enforced if one side has reinforcements show up. Does that make sense? Because it's
Yes.
like you were just telling me whatever I need to hear to delay so that you could get more troops to the battlefield.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? And so when he gets in, he sees that like fighting is not broken out and they're not like riding into a battle. He's very aware. He's leading 5,000 of Posen's most famous cavalry.
Yep.
So is he trying to sort of like hang back, y'all? I'm gonna
Yeah,
ride ahead.
he's gonna order them to hold and wait for a signal if any were to be given.
Okay. Then I will. I'm gonna have a similar sort of command roll from Runa. Just roll your wits. You can use your captain for this because captain covers like a certain amount of strategy. For her, it's more of like a if I was in the middle of like a white flag parlay and like another few other ships showed up on the other side, my assumptions would change radically.
Oh, he will approach slowly while holding a very obvious like.
Yeah, and him approaching from their side, like with like all he has to do is like basically like be bearing the Fischler flag, which to show that he's coming on their behalf. But in general,
Wow.
a single fighter isn't chosen as
48.
like, okay, yeah, she's keenly aware, and she even has like the foresight to be like, and like find a place and hide, like because they're probably gonna have scouts around this area.
Mhm.
Hans might have the same thought, but 5,000 horses is real hard to hide.
Real hard to hide. Yeah, like
Just paint them black and
5,000
white, and
guns.
everyone think of cows.
But the guards can definitely sort of like hunker down, hide into some bushes, even if Hans's cavalry are discovered, which she doesn't know exist yet, but she does. She is aware that they're coming up on it. They've also been Anna had enough money in like pocket change to buy the food out of the village, enough to feed those 5,000. Like a meal or two. It's not actually as crazy as it sounds. Like a guilder breaks down into 100 cents, and a meal is usually only like 10 cents. Y'all have been making like 500 guilder a month from the play for some time. So,
You're welcome.
So they managed to approach without like breaking the peace that has been negotiated for 24 hours. And it's kind of as they're being brought in and brought into the tent that Chimay appears in a whoop of red portal, and Gav wearing armor and Logan wearing armor come as well. Fischler is fairly shocked to see Logan.
As is Rosa.
Gav takes one look at Rosa and says, "It's apparently bad ideas are the theme of the day today."
He says, if my father is here to conquer all of Eisen to hand over to me, it won't serve him any good to have me dead on a battlefield.
I thought of the only way I could to cause him some pause.
He nods. He says, and I intend to join in negotiations tomorrow. He will understand that even if such a thing can be arranged, it is not going to be arranged in the span of a day.
Here's the question: do you trust him, and do we trust him to let you go if we cross back over to his side? If his whole goal and everything in what remains of his life is to give everything to you, how likely is it that he'll just hold you there and do what he wants anyway, and then at the end go, all right, here you go, son?
When Len says what remains of his life, Honorine kind of like reaches to touch like Logan's shoulder a little bit, like to make sure he's all right.
Yeah, he says, what do you mean the remains of his life?
Did you? Len is actually going to look at Honorine and tell him, did you not put that in the letter?
It was a letter.
Did you expect him to show up here? It seems kind of important for him to have come into this knowing. Anyway,
Someone
Your
please tell me
father.
what's happened.
Your father has a black strand.
Says an assassin, or is he ill?
He's ill.
Maybe I
Very.
could check. Maybe I could check on him. See if there's anything I can do.
Says if you wouldn't mind, if
If
I
that's
could,
your wish.
if I could accompany the group when they go to talk to him, he says, and he would come with. He says your skills as a doctor are well noted.
If that's your wish, I will do it. I will try.
I'm going with you.
but my question stands though. How much do you trust, given what you know of your father, if he is dying? And I'm sorry to put it this way, but you need to know all of the facts before you walk into that tent. If he is dying and he thinks this is his legacy, that he's going to leave it for you, and he has you in that tent with him, knowing that you're planning to be across the enemy lines and oppose him, how likely do you think it is that he will try to keep you from returning, do what he is planning to do, and then hand it to you, fait accompli, at the end of it?
But it won't work, because we'll be there.
He says Hans and Gav will come with as well. He says, I'll have an honor guard. He says, appropriate for an Iron Prince. No one can dispute that. He says, and if he tries to take me, there is no finer group that I would rather fight my way free of with.
He may be expecting you, Rosa, but he would recognize his son on the battlefield and not lay a hand on him. And it is also the one thing I don't think he is expecting. Huh?
He says
No,
he's never known me to stand up to him before, but I will stand up to him today.
We did try to tell him that what you would probably really want is just your father for however much time he has left, and not the entire friggin' country. It seemed to get through to him a little, but he's a man who believes that everything he's doing is the correct course of action, so.
Do you think he might have been trying to bait you out?
I don't think he would know that I could get here this quickly.
He would know that there are cease to cease in your city.
It's true.
He would know that we have Porte.
It's true. Jamay speaks up. She kind of plucks up the object that she used to get here, and she tosses it to him.
Oh, Honorine hugs Jamay. Like, I don't know if she just noticed Jamay or if she could have hugged Jamay when Jamay first came in, but Honorine
she
hugs her.
Just noted her, and Jamay kind of like fully wraps like both her arms around her, but like kind of speaks to the codex. She says, "Make a loud enough noise, and I will make sure there is a gateway." She says, "A way that you will be able to get out without fighting your way through the entire army. Just make sure that I'm in the center and understand that I'll be portal sick when I first arrive.
Make sure my pregnant fiance gets out too."
She should not travel through Porte.
She's not going.
And he says, I think she needs to go, and I don't think my father will take action with her there.
Right, you can't go through Porte.
No, that means if this goes wrong.
If it goes wrong, I'll stay with you, and we get out together.
And he just kind of like, he hands the object back to Jamay. He says, I don't think we're going to have that option.
You should, Koenig.
No, he's right. He's right.
Did you really expect any of us to allow you to get stuck on the field of battle?
Absolutely
Honestly.
not.
No.
Rosa, how long have we been friends?
Do you have any idea who we are?
No, but also, there's one thing we're not taking into account. His men are Vadachi. I am a Strega. And she holds her hand up with the ring on it. I am an owned Strega. I am too valuable.
Yes, and you're too valuable to us to leave behind. Do you understand that?
No, Runa, I think she's saying they won't attack her.
Yes, but that doesn't mean we're taking the item and leaving you behind.
Right.
Should
That's
anything
no longer,
happen.
that's not on the table.
Yeah, and he says, I'm not going to leave Rose behind, even if you don't believe that you'll be harmed. He says, we have come under a flag of parley if he violates it. He
Not all of
says-
his men are Vodachi.
True.
Even coming under said flag, there is still risks. If we were to all show up, it is a gamble to suddenly show up with all of the members of the largest opposing force to heal, fuck's sakes, to Eric Seeger's agenda.
I'm sorry.
It has been. This is a shit show. This whole
Ingvild
oh,
speaks up and she says, I'll stay here. She says, we hear sounds of battle. We'll be ready to go. And she kind of looks to Fischler. He says, yes. Speaking of, he says, I wouldn't mind if somebody with a bit more experience in command were to remain behind. And Ingvild says, I can hold things together.
I believe
Trust
it would
her.
be. I believe it would be unwise of me to suddenly show up. Plus, I have. Unwittingly brought a big threat where to be seen. I have people to manage.
Did you accidentally bring an army, Hans?
Yeah, I kind of thought negotiations with Sika would have fallen apart by now.
I really
And-
tried.
It is no fault of anyone here.
Please tell me you didn't bring Posen.
He says, you have an army from Posen lands.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
we need proof that Posen is seriously considering our proposals.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
I am. Oh god.
Flip
The
that.
light bulb.
I have been on the road for too
Here it
long.
is.
That.
I'm sorry,
it's-
but
Flip
Twitch
that.
clip that. Twitch
I-
clip that.
get on it, Len.
I think I should stay behind regardless. As
I'm sorry, but that was
I-
like an in-character laugh too. Like Honoring
I-
just starts laughing.
Oh yeah. No,
He says-
I have clearly been on the road for too long. I would risk saying something incredibly stupid in front of someone like Eric Seeger. I should stay here and look after the
He says,
Anna,
He
you
says,
should
"Look,
stay
go
with Hans.
get-
5,000 of
get an
Posen's
honor guard of
cavalry.
Posen, enough that they can be seen, but not enough that they'll spring straight into battle. He says, bring them here. He says, and take command if with Fischler's blessing. And Fischler's like, oh, you very much have my blessing. He says, I've seen the men fight. He says, if fighting breaks out, Hans, you're in charge.
I will go and retrieve some of my cavalry then.
All right, who's
Grazie,
going?
Hans.
Who's going and who's staying?
Going.
Going.
And she
Why
has
all
told
of our
Anna that she should stay back.
Or since I also have command experience, should I stay behind?
don't you
Uh,
need to go to a
My
sword?
mom
Well,
is
he
good at command. Where do you think I learned it from?
But you're good
Um,
at command? I've never seen you command anybody.
That's
uh,
because you're always running your mouth too.
Well, my eyes still work when my mouth is going, and I have not seen.
Open your
Man.
eyes.
Okay,
Logan
you
kind
have
of
2 minutes before I will become all of your drill sergeants. Silence. We have work to do. We are professionals, are we not?
Logan just
No.
steps forward, wraps his
Grazie,
arms around
signore.
Hans, and gives him a
Wachtturm.
huge hug in that moment. And like Fischler kind of shoots like a look to like Honorine of like, oh, did you know about this? Is like Logan is getting hugged by Hans, or like Hans is getting hugged by Logan. And he seems charmed by it over anything else, but he says if Hans is going to be bringing cavalry forces here and taking command, he's going to need a little bit of time to familiarize, but everyone who is going over should get ready. Just because we can make an announcement about the number of people in the council that is going over doesn't mean that we should. So let's cram as many people into a carriage as we can.
Agreed.
I'll stay with Hans.
I believe it would be wise to not disclose the nature of the discussions with Posen quite yet, and just say we are in talks and have made the progress to the point she has agreed to send some of her most highly revered soldiers. I think that would be enough, at least for the time.
I was there before. I'll go again, and if things look like they're not going to devolve into the battle, I will leave tomorrow for Zura.
And he says, I appreciate you remaining as long as you have. I know you're concerned about your country. That's from Logan.
Concerned about a lot of things these days.
And I imagine the carriage is kind of like cramped enough, like there are a couple people sitting on laps, but it's like a short ride.
So wait,
Rosa
who went and who's, because Honorine just offered to stay behind, but I'm not sure who else is going. Runa, Rosa, Len, and Gav?
Yeah, and I think so Gav, Runa, Rosa, Len, Honorine, and Logan going.
Okay.
So 6, which is very doable in a carriage. Yeah, Gav can be with the carriage driver. Len can be on foot if he feels it necessary. But
I think Honorine's just sort
Gav
of like,
getting
bye.
in.
I think
I can see
Honorine's
Gav getting in and just going like this.
I think Honorine's just sort of like, bye, thinking there won't be room for her. And like Rosa's just like, get the fuck in here. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, at some point, since everyone else decided to walk, Rosa's like, do you want to hop in?
Yes, I do.
Well, in that case, Len will do like kind of the footman thing on the back of the cart.
Gav's riding shotgun, but shotguns haven't been invented yet, so.
Yeah, they have. Right?
The first time we see Sora,
Let's
she's
get that.
shooting a gun.
Not a shotgun.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a difference.
So anyway, once again, there's no problems crossing the no man's zone and getting up to the tent. Everybody is going to see, Eric as I described him before. I want to take a quick moment and note we're 23 minutes from the close of the show for normal times. We might be able to get things done by then. If we go a few minutes over, is that okay? Is there anybody who like that's just really not okay? I think is like the important thing. Okay. So, I have one rule that I want to be made that can be. Sorry, I have 2 things. One is I would like a wits and its gateway that allows Runa that is her like living room, right? I want her resolve and her gateway, and then from whoever feels they have the highest roll for it, a wits and keen senses that is going to be like apothecary related. So it's kind of your choice if you want to have like Rosa make the roll or Len make the roll. If somebody else has really high wits and something that would be appropriate in that regard, they can make the roll instead.
I have 4 wits plus keen senses, but no apothecary, just 3 in commoner.
4 wits and 3 in commoner apothecary.
I'm also going to
And then-
allow like medicine or scholarship in relationship to.
I have 5 wits and I have 3 in scholar occult.
I have 4 wits and I have 5 in Doctor Surgeon.
I will let you all be the ones who decide.
Sounds like
Volunteer
Rosa
as
or
tribute.
Runa.
Does it?
Honorine or Runa.
Yeah.
5 wits
Does-
plus 3. Can I use scholar occult? Sio said?
Yeah, you can use that for the bonus. You can use the scholar, but not the occult part.
But I can
So you
still
don't get
use
the +5.
3.
You
yeah,
can still
you just
use
don't
your
get the
scholar.
+5.
Okay.
So it's either 8 keep 5 from Honorine, or it's going to be Runa's 9 keep 4, but with a +10 bonus for her
Okay.
doctoring.
I'm good with Runa.
Yeah,
Okay.
same.
I didn't realize you had the like +10 and all that shit. You got the fancy
It's-
shit.
It's because Doctor and Surgeon are
Yeah,
her
they stacked. You
specialties.
stacked. You good.
I told you she'd be getting buff. In her brain too.
She's become
Um,
a serious like medical practitioner. Like 9 keep 4 is no
Modern
joke.
day Galen here, which is Galen, but like Gal.
So +10, 44, and it was a 57 for my gateway.
Okay. So there are the 57 on the gateway is going to kind of, from the moment she comes in, there is something not quite right in the tent, but she cannot figure out what it is. Does that make sense? Like she feels a tingle of magic that nobody else is really detecting, and she doesn't quite know what it is. Does that make sense?
The Star Wars,
and
I have a bad feeling about this.
it's very much, she just has like, and I'm actually going to give you something a little bit
57, okay.
later that she's going to have an advantage of because of the 57. I'm just
Okay.
not giving away the game right away. Does that make
I was gonna
sense?
be like, that's what a 57 gets me.
So
the-
what's going to
the
happen is
tingle.
later on, if a particular thing happens, she's going to like basically be unaffected by surprise, right?
Cool.
Okay. But
Sounds
I'm
good
not
to
going
me.
to say what it is other than that. Just that she's like,
It's ninjas.
of course it's ninjas. It's always ninjas, right?
Vesperster.
Um,
I'm calling it right now. Aliens have invaded xenomorphs.
Oh no.
And as Runa is kind of like doing that like little bit of a pace of like unease, you know what I'm saying, and like her eyes sweep over the medicine box, when she is looking at the things that are labeled, what she realizes is that she knows intimately the compound that was used for like pain management because it was frequently used with the White Plague. Does that make sense? And what she also sees is that one of the components of it has been swapped. One of the key ingredients has been swapped. And what would normally be an effective pain management tool has like been used to cover arsenic. And that is also new. Like it hasn't been the medicine ongoingly. It has been added like within the last 24 hours. And she also can tell from like the number of kind of like bloody bandages and whatnot that he's been coughing into, that like coughing up blood and stuff like that has accelerated over the course of the last 24 hours. The person who would do this is the person who has access to his medicine, pairs them for him.
She is going to try to make eye contact with Logan and is like, something's not right. Do I say something now?
And he kind of like leans in, and he's about to respond when Eric stands, like forces himself to stand, and looks at Logan and he says, "What the hell are you doing here?" And Logan kind of he bites off a response. He has to turn towards Eric, and he says, "I'm stopping you." And Eric is like, "You're so smart, and you can be such an idiot."
We got a reply back, Koenig.
This was his reply.
Honorine says this fully knowing the last time he heard from her was sass as well.
Yeah, and he says, and his eyes kind of like fall down to the scabbard that marks him as an Iron Prince. The fact that he's like wearing his armor, all of it. Like, I am going to take the field against you. You know what I'm saying? And he he takes a step and he paces inside of the room. There is, despite the fact that he is dying of something that is advancing rapidly, despite the fact that he is as they speak poisoned, he's on his feet and has enough strength and energy to like pace angrily. And the Logan takes a softer tone. He says, "I know that what you want is a legacy, to secure something for the Seeger family." He says that will stand the test of time. And Eric says, "I have burned my own farmlands to keep my enemy from being fed. I have starved my own people. I have visited every horror upon them in the course of keeping my crown." Says, "For all the things that Posen has done, she has never approached me." He says, "In acts of villainy that I am willing to commit to win a battle. Why would you be here? All you had to do was remain in your tower." He says, "and all of your ideals, all of your philosophy, all of your goodness could be brought to all of Eisen, not just Freeburg. That town flourishes while the rest of Eisen sickens and dies. And we are the sickness."
If I may, how is war to bring anything better at all?
Says, "Because the last war never ended. It just ran out of bodies."
And how did
This
that work? People are without food. Can anyone handle that? The amount of resources it takes for war.
he says,
Are you prepared to lose everything?
Has Eisen not suffered enough? Koenig?
he says, "A little more, and it need never suffer like that again. Not in a dozen lifetimes."
You're just trying to brute force the problem. You think more violence is going to solve it.
He says, "Eisen's problems lie in its weakness. It must be shattered to be reforged. You
And
cannot. Go ahead.
And what weakness is that, Koenig?
He says the Iron Princes. The Iron
And do you
Princes in their ambition, the Iron Princes in their scheming, the Iron Princes in their willingness to do anything to advance themselves. Says, with me gone, with Posen gone, those princes will be no more, and you will only have him. And he
and you think
gestures
your
to
people
Logan.
fight for you?
He says, I think my people fight for coin.
You're being poisoned.
He says, it's just cancer.
No. Your medicine. It's been switched. You're being poisoned. So I'd reconsider who you trust to handle your medicines.
He kind of he looks to like the other officer that's in the room, and he says, bring him in. Says, and he gestures to Runa. He says, show me. And kind of gestures towards like his medicine cabinet.
When the doctor comes in with the other guy, Gav taps Rosa with his finger and just kind of does like a little head jerk towards them. Kind of like, what do you see? Knowing that she's still fully veiled.
Yeah, and she is. She has not taken off the veil.
Okay.
How's your pain been, Koenig?
Let me do a quick thing real quick. I think it's reasonable that either Len or Gav would be standing relatively close to the door, just as a sort of like extra insurance along with the guards. I want the two of you to take a pick as to which one is going to be there. Is Len remaining closer because Rose is inside? Is Gav doing it because he's armored? Like, just let me know who
I think, like, my personal opinion would be Gav would be closest, just by virtue of his size and the fact that he's heavily armored and he's been the bouncer at places before.
Yeah,
I
that'll
want
go with
Len
that.
to-
He'd be a little
Yeah.
closer to Rosa on this one, mother of his child
Okay.
and all that.
All right.
Especially if there's arsenic in the room or poisons. We can't have that.
The then I want Gav to make a strategy roll with his wits. If he has keen senses, he can use this as well.
Okay, so my strategy is 2. So I was gonna up my wits before the game and I forgot to. Not so great.
Actually,
Uh,
well, here, let me know what you.
17.
Okay. You have an ability, I believe, that allows you to avoid surprise by virtue of spending a drama die.
Yep, that's my arcana.
I will allow you to spend it here in anticipation of something that is going to happen. Does that make sense?
Yep. Gav's got a
So
funky feeling.
yeah, he just like it's almost like Ruda sort of like passes it through the through the vibe.
Yeah.
Like, and Gav, as he's like stepping out and he looks and he sees the officer kind of like he like, doctor, Prince wants to see you. And he sees a man come out of one of the tents that's he's a Vidachi that's dressed, it's a doctor is in this era. And he makes his way past, but what Gav notices is there's one brief moment when the officer isn't looking, that the doctor looks out over the crowd of Vidachi soldiers, and he just gives a small nod, and a few of the officers nod in return and get up and start to move. And he sees that they are moving to encircle the tent.
When the doctor comes past Gav puts his Cernith hand on the base of the doctor's neck And he looks to Logan. How loyal are your men, Koenig?
Er?
You mean Eric?
Sorry, yeah, Eric. Fucking
um,
Seegers.
Rosa does not need to make a roll to recognize the doctor when he crosses the threshold. Because the doctor is Alcide Mondavi, the prince of the Mondavi family, and the one that Seeger betrayed to steal the army from after making the agreement with him.
Oh
And
shit!
And Runa just sold him out.
And so Runa is basically not going to be surprised during this next part that happens. Does that make sense? Because while Gav has like his hand on the guy's neck, the doctor's gaze sort of like flicks towards Gav, and the doctor just says, "Do it," and a wall of light seems to disappear around a pair of Vidachi assassins that have been in the corner of the tent, and they both lunge straight towards Eric.
Runa's
I was
going.
right.
And
Sorry.
Gav, by virtue of the Dromedai that he spent, is able to twist out of the way of a poison knife that like goes off the breastplate of his Draconeisen as opposed to into his side. That is, I don't normally do this, but that is where we are going to drop the curtain for tonight.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't.
I'm
And
not
that worked.
speaking to you for a week.
And I'm very sorry about it, but it is most appropriate to do that. I cannot do this and do it justice in 15 minutes. There are a lot of players on the stage, so to speak, and it's a fight that like isn't necessarily going to have to be rolled out in every single detail, but there are going to be important things that need to happen or not happen, which can lead up to and including the death of a Koenig or Merchant Prince. So
Or all of the above.
RPO
or Hans for the I have an army.
Yes.
One to Hans
Hans.
and one to Honorine for penning that awesome letter.
Yes.
Yeah, those-
Honoring.
Okay, so yeah, I definitely love the awesome letter, and we're doing one for Hans for the thing that got clipped.
Mhm.
I'm pretty good with that. All right. Well, thank you, and I'm sorry that we are cutting on a cliffhanger. I've made it a policy to not do it as much as I can. Sometimes we just run out of time, and that's what happened tonight. I fully went into the session expecting that there was going to be a war happening, like massive battle, and like none of that prep mattered.
I'm sorry.
No, you made probably the one compelling argument that would have convinced him to stay his hand. So like I'm actually going to give out a third Dromedai because that was extremely well done. There were a very finite number of ways to convince Seeger like to stand down. And
you convinced a man who's dying to hold off on establishing his legacy.
Yeah, because it sure wasn't your kid would like to spend time with you. That was the Zordon was not going to hunt.
Whose Arcana, I need to add, is stubborn and has a resolve of 6.
Rosa managed to get a record scratch out of the least scratchable person in
It's because she
Eisen.
has a lot of practice. Listen,
so yeah,
I know who I
actually
married and I know who she married, so
I'm giving out 3 Dromedais tonight. And
sorry.
next game we're resolving this.
Okay.
So let me go ahead and read us out. Thank you for everybody who has stayed with us tonight.
Thank you, Siosa, for session. That was fantastic
Woo,
as
That
always.
was really
you.
good. Yeah. I had no
Thank
idea what was going to happen.
I am glad that I can surprise you guys 75 episodes into we're 73 episodes into what we're doing. I'm glad that that Seeger was sick came as a twist, you know what I'm saying, and enough of a twist that you guys were like adjusting your plans in the moment. So What are we laughing at?
Glory was going on a trip in her favorite rocket ship,
Let's go.
zooming through the
Sailing
zoo.
through the skies.
All right. So, thank you everyone for watching us on YouTube or live on Twitch. Audience participation always means the world to us. And if you're on YouTube, smash the like, hit the subscribe, and make a comment in the down below. Here at Dirty 20, we always sign out with the same call to action. Be nice, be kind when you have the spoons, but even when you don't, be nice. Be nice to strangers, be nice to family, be nice to your loved ones, and be nice to yourself. Thank you for coming on this journey with us, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Good
And happy
night.
birthday to
Good
Rory.
night.
Good
Happy
night.
birthday, Rory.
Happy birthday,